back up to open session. I want to welcome everybody tonight. Happy Valentine's Day. It's a great way to spend it, right? Poor planning on our part. Anyway, let's start with our agenda. We'll start, as always, with the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honoring the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Carry. Others. Left to right. Face. Forward. Arch. Post. Colors. Ready? Cut. Up to right. Face. Forward. Arch.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. All right, the colors tonight were presented by Kingwood Naval Science JROTC. So we'll thank them for that great presentation tonight. Okay, commendations, recognitions. Dr. Fagan.
Thank you. We're going to start with inspiring moments tonight. Over the past 4 months, a group of about 80 students, parents, educators, business representatives, and community members have been meeting to develop our proposed portrait of an UMBL-ISD graduate. We've called this group the Dream Team because of its focus on dreaming for outcomes for our students. The Dream Team has now concluded its work. Next month, we'll be bringing a proposed portrait of an UMBL-ISD graduate to the board for its consideration. Once approved, UMBL-ISD will align our work by building implementation plans to ensure students have opportunities to develop the competencies that our community values most, going above and beyond basic academic expectations, but of course including those also. This has been an exciting process. The way that UMBL-ISD parents and community members engage with and support students' success is second to none. Tonight's inspiring moment provides a glimpse into the work of UMBL-ISD's Dream Team.
Our culture and technology has changed things so fast and so quickly, we've not really adapted with it as far as the way that we teach and the way that we develop these students into who we want them to be.
The first Dream Team meeting went super well. I think it was an eye-opening experience for a lot of us.
I was under the impression that we're all going to get together and try to make the district a little much better, where voices could be heard.
One of the things I think that we're really focusing on is what are the skill sets that we want our kids to have when they graduate with that diploma from UMBL-ISD. We want them clearly to be, good at math, good at English. Those are the things that we teach in school the concrete subjects that we teach. But I think what they're asking us to do is look beyond that. What are companies looking to hire? Are they looking to hire kids who can write a really good essay, or are they looking to hire kids who can look you in the eye and shake your hand and have a good conversation?
Not everybody's thinking the same, and that's definitely very important that we get a collection of ideas that may conflict, but also give us opportunity to discuss and come up with what we feel is the best, what is in the best interest of our students. Coming up with these competencies and what we're trying to shape and what we want the future student of Omaha ISD to look like is going to go well beyond their years, our years, and hopefully be able to shape this school district and make this school district a model for other school districts around the state and around the country.
It's definitely going to help out, because I am a student as well, so seeing how all the students are going to benefit from this, it's definitely going to bring a better tomorrow.
Well, the group definitely accomplished what it set out to accomplish, which is it is proposing 6 student competencies for 21st century students. It's been an extraordinary group to work with. There's something about the community. I've never been to Humboldt before the beginning of this process. There's something about the community in which it's palpable how dedicated all the participants were to the school system and to the students.
I really love it because the fact that the superintendent went out of her way to see what parents and communication wants in NYC or what their vision is. She's getting their opinion. She's not being only one-sided.
I think we're a district that's open to new, great, and bright ideas that's going to make a huge difference in our community.
The competencies that we came up with and put on the board for the profile of a graduate are what I'm looking for when I'm hiring potential applicants.
So one of the key takeaways for me from the 3 half-day sessions is the need to create safe spaces for our educators and for our students. I certainly would trust our educators' ability to do that for our students in the classroom. We as parents have a responsibility to create safe spaces for our educators, administrators, counselors, teachers, and the like.
One thing that I really got out of this dream team process was an insight into all the values of different community leaders and peace of mind that I'll be well equipped and others will be well equipped in the future with these ideas that we have came up with.
I think that the process went really well. The advice that the community has given to the educators is really sound. And now it's really up for all the stakeholders to get together behind this vision and do the hard work of implementation.
I'll talk about that more in a little bit when it's my turn. But I'm going to move on to super staffers for tonight. I would like to introduce Jerry Monbaron, Director of Community Development, and she will be introducing you to this month's super staffers.
Each month, campuses and departments select an individual to be honored as a super staffer for their outstanding work in advancing student achievement. A drawing is held and 3 honorees receive additional recognition at a school board meeting, including a $200 gift card to Papa's Restaurants, thanks to an award sponsor. The sponsor for this month's Super Staffer Award is Gulf Coast Educators Federal Credit Union, and joining us tonight from the credit union is Julia Arsenault and Jessica Rodriguez. Thank you. So being honored as the elementary super staffer tonight is Angela Hatoy from Park Lakes Elementary. Sarah Allen can join us. Angela. Angela is an outstanding teacher and team leader. She consistently goes above and beyond to help students learn. She collaborates and plans with teammates to ensure high-yield instructional strategies are in place for all students in her grade level. She never hesitates to do what's best for students. So take your picture, one more hand for Angela. Being honored as a secondary super staffer is Jason Watkins from Riverwood Middle School. Manny, the assistant principal from Riverwood, is going to join us up here too. And this is what was said about Jason. Jason puts so much of himself into his job. As a teacher, he is highly respected by his students and relates to them on a personal level. He maintains the right balance of humor and information to keep students engaged at all times. As a coach, his heart and soul goes into working with his athletes, and it shows in the large degree of success they enjoy. He can maintain a calm and collected demeanor in any situation that is thrown toward him, and he does a great job mentoring young men to mold them into responsible adults. Congratulations, Jason. So being honored as a support super staffer tonight is Carrie Leffert, the Administrative Assistant for Finance. And her supervisor, Mike Seal, Chief Financial Officer, is going to come up. And we've never blamed Mike for being brief, so buckle in for a minute here. Mike wrote, when I arrived in the district a little over a year ago, I knew that in order for the finance department to become more responsive to the needs of departments and campuses, we would have to understand those needs and challenges that finance rules and regulations create for the people we serve. I also needed to learn the culture and history of this district and community. Carrie has been my source for that information. I have never worked on a campus or in a department outside of central administration, but Carrie's prior experience makes up for my shortcomings. She is the filter through which we pass almost any change in finance functions that will affect campuses or departments. Because she has been on the receiving end of cumbersome regulations, she is often able to steer us away from changes that might seem perfectly reasonable when developed in isolation, but would in fact create an unfair or unproductive burden for campuses. She's also a great source of knowledge for other administrative assistants, and she's always ready and willing to train and support. I can't think of anyone more deserving of this recognition. My job would be infinitely more challenging if I didn't have Carrie at my side, and I know that there are many other members of the Humble ISD family that share my appreciation for all she does. In closing. We're almost there. Carrie generally proofs every letter or memo that I release. This is the exception. So I know that Carrie would want me to affirm that this document was released without her oversight and that I take sole responsibility for all grammatical, spelling, and punctuation errors.
Principal of Humble Middle School, Henry Phipps, to share some exciting news with us.
Good afternoon. I'd like to first start off by thanking one person. I want to thank my wife for allowing me to be here on Valentine's night. Okay, that was the most important part of my speech. Okay. Second, guys, I'd like to say, we've been on a journey at Humble Middle School. But for me to be able to effectively articulate that journey, I want some of my students to come up and to talk to you about the culture at HMS. So they're going to start with the culture, then I'm going to end with the announcement. But I want you to understand these are two of my sixth graders. One is 11 and one is 12. And they're excited to be here. I want to give them a warm round of applause as they come up to the microphone. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Laishanice Jones, and I'm a 6th grader at Humble Middle School.
My name is VJ Kesavan. I'm also a 6th grader at Humble Middle.
We believe that culture is what you hear, see, and feel as you walk down our hallways.
So some of the things that you see when you walk down the hallways of HMS are the college flags that have been posted all above the lockers to show colleges across the country. There are college corners in each teacher's room that show their alma maters, and we also have the Avid Site team member sites that work hard, that showcase the people that work hard to keep HMS an Avid National Demonstration School. And last but not least, we have a new and improved trophy case right by our commons, which shows college terms and vocabulary, a college and a career of the month, and a calendar of recent events at our school.
Something that we hear every day on our morning announcements is a little saying that says, "Make it a great day or not, the choice is yours." And it kind of makes you wonder, will this affect my future? Will it affect my education? My math teacher always talks about education and how it's very important in order for you to get a well-paying job rather than a minimum wage job.
So some of the things that we feel when we're in HMS are that we're very supported by our wonderful principal, Mr. Fitz. And he takes the time to make sure that the students know that he's involved in their education. He threw a party for everybody who went ahead and got their planner as recommended. And not only that, but the teachers, they also really care at HMS. They work hard to make sure that students of all learning levels can go ahead and have a good education.
In conclusion, we are very thankful to be an ICLE model school, and we are very proud to be an Avid National Demonstration School. Thank you.
So in summary, what I'd like to do at this time, I would like to thank the Humble ISD School Board, Dr. Fagan, Assistant Superintendents here for your support throughout this 3-year journey. Without you all, the Education Foundation, and a lot of support from everyone involved, we could not be here today. Through the application of what we learned at model schools, through rigorous learning, innovative teaching practices, I'd like to announce to you tonight that Humble Middle School is now a 2017 model school by the International Center for Leadership and Education. Thank you. If everyone who's here from all the middle staff and students to come up to the front so we take a picture, I greatly appreciate it.
Give me the time I want students to make it, just to introduce themselves and then get out of your way. So everybody, tell them who you are.
My name is Taylor Sarah. I'm a Sky Harrison. Place she's Jim. Taylor Dawkins.
Staff. And assistant principal.
Glenda Daniels, assistant principal.
Kimberly Esparza, assistant principal.
Timmy Davis, national.
Natea Alvarez, assistant secretary.
Yes.
is amazing, and we are very, very proud up at this table. All right, next we have questions and comments by patrons or employees of the district regarding agenda items or any other matters. Just so you know, if it's something that's not on the agenda, it is technically against the law for us to talk about it. So the board may not respond, but would be happy to listen to what members of the public or staff have to say. First, I have Vicki Wu, and Vicki's going to talk about the elementary school 28 boundary.
I'll be brief because I know y'all are trying to save me. I know.
Of course not.
And I sent y'all, all of you, a very lengthy email yesterday with a lot of information. As parents, I think we're all just very frustrated with this process. We feel like a lot of people aren't here tonight, not just because it's Valentine's Day, but because we just feel like our opinions haven't been heard, our concerns haven't been heard. On one hand, we have a plan that affects 560 students and divides the neighborhood. On the other hand, we have a plan that seems to cause a lot of chaos and uncertainty amongst the schools. And a lot of parents are just very concerned that neither one of those plans is a very good plan. And that this whole process has not been handled well. There's a lot of questions that have never been answered 3 months down the road, and it can't be like this again. So I just am here to express our frustration again. A lot of people aren't here because they just feel defeated. They really do. And we're putting our children in your hands to make the best decision for how these boundaries should go. And I know it's a tough decision, and we hope you all make the right one.
Thank you, Vicki. This is on the agenda, and I'm sure it will be discussed. Thank you. All right. Courtney is here to talk about the calendar of the 2017-2018. Courtney, how you doing?
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
I am a little disappointed in the calendar that's being proposed to you this evening. The notes on the board agenda state that exemption from the August 28th start date is not allowed under Humboldt ISD's District of Innovation Plan. And while this is true, I've had conversations with a couple of board members as well as district administrators about the possibility of the DOI committee meeting to discuss amending the plan to allow an earlier start date. The purpose of the concept of the DOI is to allow districts to be innovative and do what is best for learning. We had a great opportunity to finally develop a calendar to best meet the needs of students, but we didn't explore that option through the DOI committee. Our semesters are very unbalanced, with the proposed calendar placing 74 days in first semester and 99 in second semester. And I know that's how it's been for a while, but a student taking a one semester course first semester is put at a great disadvantage and doesn't get the same out of that course as a kid in second semester. Also, the proposed calendar adds 10 minutes to the school day, which in turn adds 10 minutes to the work day, which equates to an additional 3.5 work days unpaid. In the past years, we have done what we felt was best within the constraints given to us by the state, but now we have the flexibility to consider alternative options that may fit the needs of our students more effectively. Even if we are not ready to take a huge step toward innovation, we can take small steps. There are several districts in Texas that have already adopted a calendar for next school year that begins August 21st. This is at least a step in the right direction in balancing out the semesters and eliminates the need for additional staff days in August and additional minutes added to the school day. I know that several board members saw what Forney ISD did to create an innovative calendar and the reasoning behind it. Why don't we take this opportunity to create the best possible calendar to fit the needs of our students? I ask that you take some time to consider the option of innovation before approving calendar B1. If you must move forward this evening, please direct the district to start exploring innovative options now for the following school year.
Thank you very much. That's, yes, that's also on the agenda, and Lisa may pull that discussion. All right, thank you both. All right, next we have comments by individual board members. I will start to my left with Mr. Cunningham.
Thank you, Mr. President. Really just briefly, I want to
say a couple thank yous. There he is, right there. Henry, Mr. Phipps, I want to just thank you and all of my friends over there at Humble Middle School for a job well done. You and your staff, thank you. Continue to keep up doing the good work. Also want to reach out to my friends over at Tascasito Middle School, Carl, and appreciate the cards and the well wishes. Where is he at? Dr. Brown. There he is, right over there. Dr. Brown, you and your staff. Want to just once again just say thank you, and then especially to you for all the work that you've done on the building and planning and with the boundaries. I really appreciate all of your efforts. And last but not least, I think I had somebody here to send me something here. Oh, I can forget this person. She's not here. Trey, you can pass it along to my friend Deborah Yoga. She sent me a nice card, and it's really great to see her. And she had her ride into the sunset, if you will. So if you could pass that along, I really appreciate it. Mr. President, that's it for me.
All right, thank you, Mr. Cunningham. Mr. Rushing.
Yes, just a shout out to Mr. Phipps and team, students, parents, and staff of Humble Middle School. Congratulations, that's awesome. Set the bar high for everyone else to follow, and clearly very passionate about what you're doing as students at that school. And so it's really you guys that make the culture. The teachers kind of guide it, but it's the students that make it. So congratulations to all the students who are here. Well done.
Thank you, Mr. Rushing. I'll go all the way to my right. Ms. Morrison.
Just a huge congratulations, Mr. Phipps. Outstanding students. What a presentation. You did an awesome job. And talk about setting the bar high. Congratulations. So proud of you. Also, a huge thank you to everyone that's here tonight participating, and also to all our students all over the district for everything you do and our staff.
Oh, that's it. Mr. Engelbach.
Yes. Also, congratulate you, Henry. Especially want to say congratulations and thank you to the two speakers. Like, you guys did a great job. But congratulations to everyone. Recently, Henry, I had someone who's going to be running the school board call me and asked me what I missed the most. And he said, it was just amazing. You're one of them, so I appreciate all that you did. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Engelbach. Mr. Sitton.
For my wife, who's probably at home watching on Texan Live, happy Valentine's Day. So, Henry, I'm going to echo what they all have said, but it's special for me being an alumnus of Humble Middle School from way back in the day. It's great to see what you've done with that campus and with those students, and we're proud of you. Jerry Von Baron, the foundation and the rodeo committee, barbecue cook-off committee did a great job the last 2 weekends. And good weather and good turnouts for the cook-off, good turnouts for the rodeo. So I'm anxious to see the numbers, how they came in, because all the proceeds of those 2 weekend events go back to the foundation to fund competitive grants right back into our classrooms. So events like that, hats off to you. That was a great job. And to our 2 adult speakers tonight, thank you for being here and thank you for your passion. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Sidden. Ms. Conrad.
Thank you, Mr. President. Vicki and Courtney, and thank you for taking the time to address the board and to also follow up with the information through email. We really appreciate you providing that information to us. I did also want to say thank you to the Humble ISD Education Foundation, Rodeo Committee, volunteers, everyone who was involved in making the 2 weekends a success. And I don't know about y'all, but we made good memories with the family as well, and had a good time judging, right, Nancy? We had a difficult job of judging the barbecue. That was terrible. But thank you. I know there's so much work that goes into that, and I know that everyone keeps coming back and being a part of that every year because it feels good to give back and be a part of that. And we know all that money's going to go up to our classrooms. So thank you for that work, and
coordinating, and I hope those coordinators will come back, want to do it again. Congratulations to our super staffers, and you know, just thinking about that program, I guess this is our second year. Is this our second year of super, or third year with super staffers? I'm glad that we continued that. I think that came out of a committee process, and just to have an employee recognition program, I think is wonderful. It gives something for everyone to strive for, and just pat on the back is wonderful. But we also have some great business partners, and I really appreciate the partners supporting this program month after month, and just giving something a little special back to our super staffers. So good job on that. I did see an email about Teachers of the Year. I've seen them on Twitter, and so I'm sure we'll see them all at one time. But I did want to formally say congratulations to all our Teachers of the Year out of campuses, and good luck on your, I guess there's a district process they go to, the District Teacher of the Year or so forth. So, oh, we'll see them at Gala. What else? Oh, Unbelievable School. Thank you to, I'm just so excited that not only were you satisfied with becoming an avid national demonstration school, that wasn't enough. What's next for us? So I like that you're always looking for what's next for our kids and our staff, and to move forward. So just to go to a conference and learn from other schools is one thing, but to say we're gonna take that step and we're gonna be a model school, and then to do it, that's a great achievement. And so we're really proud that you took that step. And I know you have something else down the road, but take the time to celebrate and say, this is great, you did a good job. And students, wow, excellent presentation. I don't think I could order from a menu in the public when I was in 6th grade. So speaking of, that's amazing. Y'all did a great job, and as 6th graders, that's fantastic. So congratulations, and I don't know what that entails. I guess you'll be at the conference presenting to others. Okay. Awesome. That's great. That's even more exciting. So you'll continue to update us on that progress. And then finally, I did want to say thank you to our dream team. I think you have one meeting, or that was the final meeting. So, that's a big process to go through, and they dedicated a lot of time on some really hard work. But it's very important for us in determining where we go in the years to come. And so I really appreciate the time that y'all spent, not only in the room together with one another, but in talking to other community members, other parents, and just really determine, and business leaders, and what is it that our kids need to be when they graduate. So this really will give us, I'm really looking forward to what we'll bring as a recommendation for March. I'm excited about the work, and I look forward to where we go from here. So, we'll come in. Thanks, Mr.
Thank you, Ms. Conrad. Henry, there's not really much I can add. I mean, we've got very strong leadership in our middle schools, and you're just an example of that strong leadership, you and your staff, and your wonderful students. And just I could not be more proud of what you guys have accomplished. It's frankly amazing. So just congratulations to you, and just keep it up. It's awesome. Last month was School Board Appreciation Month, and I just want to say thank you for all the thank yous that we get. We all are volunteers, and the teachers sometimes have their students create cards for us, and these are handwritten cards. And I don't know if you guys think that we don't read these things, but we do. I read all of them, every one I get. I'll just point out 2 of them. These are my favorites. One's a little crazy. It says, "Dear Mr. Lopez, thank you so much for volunteering for the school board. Without you, we wouldn't have half of the stuff we have today." And this is the part that disturbed me a little bit. "I cannot believe you've been a volunteer since 2006. That was the year I was born." Thanks. 5th grade, Bear Branch Elementary student. And this is, I think, the one that's probably the most accurate one of all the ones. It says, "Thank you for all the decisions you make. There are most likely very tough ones and maybe some easy ones. But anyway, thank you, Mr. Lopez." And it's P.S. I like the name Keith. And then here's I think Keith. Yes, not Heath, Keith. Heath, this just shows you how the students view me though as overall. It says, "Dear Mr. Lopez, thank you for giving us money to buy iPad, Chromebooks, and other great stuff. P.S. I think you're cooler than the others. I do appreciate that, and I know we all appreciate that, and those are actual letters from students in our district, and it's just wonderful. And I want to thank also the super staffers and the folks from the rodeo. I heard it was a great success. I wasn't able to attend this year, but it was just incredible again, and hopefully we raised a lot of money with that. And I want to especially thank all the students from the middle school that are here tonight. Thank you guys, and thank you to the two presenters. I just want to echo again, you guys were awesome. You have careers, public speaking careers ahead of you. But that's it. That's all I have, and I'll pass it off to Dr. Fagan.
Thank you. I want to start with Humble Middle School. I think people don't always know that, your principals, staff, schools, they're not required to do AVID. They're not required to do model schools. Those things are completely out there, and additional work, a lot of additional work to raise the bar for yourselves. To say, yes, we could just be judged by the typical low-level system, or we could aspire for something more, something that speaks to our hearts for kids, something that measures the things that we do every day that are the most important, not just the easiest to measure. And so as you watch those two students present tonight, you saw things that will never be measured on a state test, but we were all completely impressed because we know that those speaking skills, the ability to get up in front of a whole room full of adults and speak from the heart very passionately, very articulately, cannot be measured on the star, but are absolutely important and critical to their futures. And so I just want to say thank you for your leadership, Henry. We've had a lot of opportunities to work together, whether it's a bus accident or something else, and in every single incident, the care you have for your students, the relationships, and with your staff, more than evident. And this is well-deserved, well-earned honor for you and your entire school, and we're here to support you as you move forward. But thank you for raising the bar for yourselves, aspiring for something more, not just going with what's required, but instead finding something that really measures what's right for kids and then moving in that direction. So well done, well deserved. As I watch the students tonight, as we listen to the piece about Humble Middle School, just one example, but really resonates with me because of the work of the Dream Team. We heard from a room full of very passionate people, students and adults alike, that they want great things for themselves and for their students, their children, their future business workers, the people that will care for them when they're older, way beyond. Of course they want all of the sort of core knowledge that we have in our schools. They want reading, they want literacy, math. All of that is absolutely important and critical, but we all know there's something more there that we want for our children and for our community. And this is a group that came together and had huge lists of things. I mean, I thought it was probably never going to come down to a manageable amount of items, but they worked together in earnest to really talk about what was most important and how they could put things together and really describe what they need and make it uniquely Humble ISD. So thank you to the Dream Team folks who did all of that work. It was truly authentic, organic work done in this very room. By 80 people who dedicated a lot of time and energy, and then other people from the outside who contributed to that work also. We're excited to move it forward and really align our systems so that we can take our learning, our teaching, our pedagogy, our finances, our hiring, all of these things to a higher level of efficiency and alignment. And so many people have stopped me and said, I'm really excited about where we're going for students. We're not focusing on the floor, we're focusing on the sky, which is really a lot more exciting as a teacher, as a leader, as a parent, and so forth and so on. And you saw a few of the testimonials. I have to tell you, the testimonials that I heard in the room on the closing day, they were incredible. And I hope Jonathan has an opportunity. Thank you for the video, by the way. It was really well done. I hope we have the opportunity to bring you a few more of those at the March meeting so you can hear for yourselves from the people who really engaged in the work from various perspectives and came together in the best interest of all children in our school district. So a really great launch to exciting work ahead, very well aligned to the strengths of our teachers and our leaders and what they want to do for students. So thanks to all of those folks too. It was a big commitment and people really showed up and gave their all the whole time. Very high engagement. So with that, I think I'm finished for tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Fagan. All right, action items, closed session.
Yes, Mr. President. I'll go ahead and start with personnel. That's the personnel. I move that the board approve the administration's personnel recommendation as presented with addendum.
Motion and a second, Mr. Sidney. All in favor? So no.
Mr. President, as to the student placement, I move that the board approve student placement in alternative education programs as presented by the superintendent.
Motion and a second, all in favor? So no.
Mr. President, as to the consideration of possible action concerning a resolution of the case regarding the student NR, I move that the board approve resolution of the case regarding the student NR by the superintendent.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor? Seven. And I think that's it for closed session. Action item for minutes, Mr. Cummings.
I move that the board approve the minutes of the regular board meeting held on January 10th, 2017.
Motion is second, all in favor? Go.
President, as to the board workshop held on January 31st, I move that the board approve the minutes of the budget workshop.
Second. Motion is second, all in favor? And 2 abstentions. Get that done? All right.
Mr. President, move that the board approve the minutes for the board workshop held on February 7th, 2017.
Motion is second, all in favor? With 1 abstention. 6 with 1 abstention. Okay. Next, we have updates on board associations and committees. First, we have the audit committee. Mr. Cunningham, back at you.
Mr. President, I have placed at your desk a report coming from the audit committee. If you have any questions, please see the audit committee member, Dr. Davis, Dr. Price, or Mr. Shaw.
All right. Board and superintendent evaluation process and goals committee, Ms. Conrad.
Yes, sir, we met last month, immediately following this meeting. And we were all present. So I don't think you all had any questions or discussion. We don't have the next meeting set date yet, so nothing to report.
All right. Building and planning committee, Mr. Lindahl.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Dr. Brown, for your very complete summary. We appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Okay, Education Foundation, Mr. Cunningham.
Yes, Mr. President. Well, we just got through with the 2 weeks, and so that was a real good thing. We did have a meeting this morning at 8:30. Discuss upcoming events and plans. Immediately after spring break, quite immediately, but after spring break, I want you to look forward to holding our gala. And I believe that's going to be on March 31st.
April 6th?
April 6th.
April 6th. Hold on, Mr. Cunningham, just make sure everyone's calendar is correct. April 6th for the gala.
Okay, I'm trying to do a little.
That's okay. That's all right, all right. Just want to make sure.
So way after. Anyway, and with that, that's.
Is that a Thursday?
Actually, sorry, April 7th.
All right, correction again. April 7th, Friday, gala. Everybody get your tickets, or at least mark your calendars. All right.
Well, we do have another board meeting coming up in March, so we'll definitely have to stay.
And just put it on your calendar now. Put it on your calendar. That Friday.
Same day.
That Friday's. Yeah, that Friday's taken up.
What is this year's theme, Mr. Cunningham?
Yes.
I think we need to maybe have Ms. Baron.
What is this year's theme?
What is this year's theme?
I think it's 80.
Beach.
Last year?
It's beach.
Beach party. I know, that's the wrong
I know, beach party, that's a good idea. It's maybe kind of like the luau thing that,
That's a lie.
great time. That was a great gala. That was one of my favorite galas.
Look, 80, 70, I'm still stuck in that.
It could be a beach party.
All right.
Anyway, that's it, Mr. President.
All right, great. Okay, so just to summarize and correct, April 7th, beach theme. Looking forward to it. All right, next, Finance Committee, Mr. Rushing.
Yes, sir. Thanks to everyone that attended, I guess, the January 31st budget workshop that kicked off our process. I apologize for not being there, but I heard it went well. And got kind of an overview of what is ahead in the early going into the legislative session and what we can expect to see going forward. Our next meeting is March 28th. I'm not trusting that. Is he right? All right. So,
Have it on the calendar.
all right. Yeah, so we'll see you there.
Awesome. Kingwood Super Neighborhood Council. No reports. All right. Legislative Committee, Ms. Morrison.
We'll be having a report next March. In March, we'll be going to Austin here and Cooper's Open. Well,
I just want to thank you and congratulate you on the really well done meeting that you had with Dr. Scoggins and Representative Huberty. It was well done, very informative, I thought. Also, just for those who don't know, Dan Huberty, former board member, now current representative, is the chairman of the House Public Education Committee, which is one of the most powerful committees in Austin because they have so much money involved there. And it's very good to have a friend there. So we are very happy that he has got that position. We, being humble ISD, we should be very happy. So that's a good thing.
Mr. President, you have a question?
Yeah.
Ms. Morrison. Ms. Morrison, in our Education Foundation meeting, a question came up concerning Senate Bill 13. And I don't know if that's on our radar or not, but anything that you might be able to bring, I believe this has something to do with donations or pledges from employees. So if, next couple of days or so, you get some insight on it. That'd be great. Thank you, Mr. President.
Great.
Can I add?
Sure.
I just want to add, because you mentioned a meeting and some people were not able to attend the legislative meeting. I guess public information was wanting to put it all up on the website. There's a website that has, under information, if you go to legislative section from the Humble ISD website, you can see the PowerPoint presentation that was presented that evening, as well as some of the bills that are going to be of interest to us. So the numbers are there so that you can track them and kind of follow that throughout the session as well. So.
Great. Super. All right. Legislative Program Committee, that's Mr. C.
We had multiple scheduling conflicts, so we had to postpone our meeting. I was out of town, you were out of town, and Nancy was on the other side of town trying to get here. So we're working on rescheduling that meeting as we speak.
We are. Okay. Technology and Data Governance Committee. Go ahead.
Yes, Mr. President, we did meet last week, and Mr. Harding sent you all a summary of that meeting. So if you have any questions for me or any members of the committee, certainly welcome those questions. I don't know if there's anything you want to go over from that, but y'all got it via email. So if you have any questions, yes.
Okay. All right. All right, we're done with the Board Association Committee updates, and we next move to the consent agenda. Just so those who have not been here before, we get the agenda in advance, just like the public does. We're able to read through and ask the administration and Rebecca Fagan questions and get those answered in advance. So in an effort to make us more efficient, we have what's called a consent agenda, and things that really need to be discussed are placed on this agenda, and they're dealt with in a summary fashion. So we'll start with governance considerations, policy CDA local. That is consent. B, order for and notice of trustee election. That is consent. Resolution regarding Humble ISD's priorities for the 85th Texas legislative session. Pull that. That is pulled as an individual item. D, Civic Center lease renewal agreement. That is consent. Superintendent's Division Reports, Considerations and Purchases. A, 2016-2017, Professional Internal Audit Services with McConnell and Jones, LLP. That's consent. B, calendar option B1 for 2017-2018 school year. That's pulled as an individual item. No reports under Learning Division. Under Financial Services Division, reports, considerations, and purchases. A, tax refund. That is consent. B, consideration of annual external financial audit services. That is consent. And C, budgetary amendments. That's consent. No items under Human Resources reports. Under Support Services Division reports, considerations, and purchases. A, student attendance area 2017-2018 school year, elementary 28, that is going to be an individual. Under B, consideration of electricity provider. That is consent. Under district-wide reports, considerations, and purchases. A, action item, goods, professional services, and non-construction services exceeding $50,000 in the aggregate or $25,000 in is a consent item. All right, Mr. Cunningham, can you read that back in the form of a motion? I would appreciate it.
Yes, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move that the board approve the following items by consent under government considerations. Items A, B, and D. Under Superintendent's Division reports, consideration and purchases, items A. Under Financial Service Division report, consideration and purchases, items A, B, and C. Under the Support Services Division, considerations and purchases, items B, and under District-wide report, consideration and purchases, items A.
Have a motion, of a second.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor? 7. All right. Now, let's go to our action items. All right. Let's start off with the resolution regarding otherwise these priorities for the 85th legislative session. Got a motion? So moved. Second. A second. Discussion. Mr. Sidney, you pulled that.
Yeah, I pulled it for one specific reason. The legislative priorities is in the packet, but I want to point out priority 3, just so there's no confusion in the media or in the public. Item 3 refers to vouchers, taxpayer savings grants, virtual vouchers. We oppose any state voucher plans or any program that diverts public tax dollars to private entities, homeschool students, or parents with little or no academic or financial accountability to the state, taxpayers, or local communities. We oppose vouchers and anything that diverts public money. Okay? That's all I got to say.
All right, thank you, Mr. Sidden. Apparently people like to invent things that this board is possibly for or against. I believe he's just making that very clear. I also want to let the public know, and Ms. Morrison, she worked on this. This is kind of her baby. The committee, the legislative committee has reviewed it. She has also gotten help and guidance from not only members of ATPE and some of the other folks. So this is something. Yes. So this is something that the board committee has. When I say committee, I mean Nancy Morrison for the most part has, and she did a really great job on it. But we ended up looking at it, and this is something that I believe that I think the board should be for all of these things, and all these things are important, which is the most important thing to Humble ISD. So that's why we, as a board, I think should support each one of these things. This is not a political issue. This is something for our school district. Mr. Rushing, you have something? Yes, this is just for this legislative session. And there's some things here that we wanted to point out that have been talked about a lot this session. So we wanted to make sure it was covered by this. All right, anybody else have any other comments, any questions? Going once, going twice, let's vote. All in favor? We have unanimous. All right. Next item is the calendar, I believe. So, yes. All right. We have an information item, Go Public Gulf Coast. Mr. Cunningham?
Yes, Mr. President, that would be me. I don't know if all board members received this, so y'all received the presentation. And just to give a little background, this is something that has been initiated up in the Dallas area under Make Education a Priority, and then Go Public in the San Antonio area. Gulf Coast, the Gulf Coast Association, which is a member of about 50 school districts, has kind of jumped on the bandwagon here that all we're doing is really promoting public education. That's the whole idea behind the Gulf Coast, Go Public Gulf Coast. We started the process almost a year ago, last March. We were trying to tied together with Gulf Coast, but because of the possibility of a political nature, they had to be separated. So we went on and we was in the organizing piece of it. Two of us from this school district participated, myself and Jamie Mao. And we've reached that hurdle now to where they are actually legit. They're an organization, 501c, and as you see, they had their officers, election meeting, their mission statement, mission statement, and then there's a lot of other committees involved. Now, the thing of it is there's a cost to this membership, and because of our president, Mr. Lopez, and Dr. Fagan, also on board, we thought best that we would participate and bring back the information to see if this is something that Humble ISD would want to continue to be in. We've kind of birthed this thing up to this point. The membership is based on ADA, average available attendance. We've already done presentations with the area superintendents. I think we did that back in January of this month. I think we were there. So I believe that it got good reviews. In a nutshell, what does it get you? With the dues that are being paid, it gets you, on an average, I would say about $300,000 worth of free advertising. And there's different ways that we're going to be doing this advertising. But once again, it comes back, it's not trying to discredit anything, it's positively promoting public education. There tends to be a lot of misinformation out there about public education. I think, Mr. Lopez, you were here when we were on the board with Mr. Uberty and Mr. Martin, and the main thing that we talked about was that we need to tell our story. So now this is the whole Gulf Coast telling their story. Bob Colby has one of these aha moments where he's sitting at home and the news flashes that there was just a child molestation by a teacher, and he's praying, please don't let it be Humble ISD, please don't let it be, but it's the other guy. So now we've got to kind of come together now. And so this is the whole thrust of what we're trying to do. Austin tends to kind of confuse some things. We've got over 1,000 school districts, and 85% of them are struggling. That doesn't mean all the school districts are struggling. So we tend to get that label for that 5%. So let's, promote positive what's going on here. So I am bringing this to you as an information item. Hopefully, as an action item that I am letting you know that I know myself, I'm in favor of it. And I hope the board will feel the same way about it. it's a good thing we as 50 school districts in this Gold Coast area can come together as one. Many members, one body. And that's all I have to say on that.
I would just, I think any time that you can come together with other board members is good because you can learn from each other. Even if it's, say, we have these resolutions that we're adopting in the best interest of our community, our district, it's still helpful to understand the other big issues that we'll see go through these bills that come to the legislators. And like ASETAR, for example, is a big deal. I don't understand what it is exactly, but I need to understand at least enough to know that, well, that's a big deal for Cy-Fair. I know, so to empathize with them and what's hurting their district, what helps their district, it helps us to understand what struggles we have. So to come together in these types of meetings helps not only understand that, but to me, one of the areas that's really hard to develop as a board member is that advocacy side. Especially as a new board member, you're just trying to understand the budget and how board meetings work. And so to be an advocate for your district, it tends to be that area of growth that kind of takes a back burner. So any kind of opportunity we have where we can learn from other board members who are very comfortable talking to legislators and ways that we can promote public education to our legislators, I think that's beneficial. So there are some great efforts that have come out of these grassroots meetings too, like the Taxparency group and that whole campaign, as well as the what's the hashtag, Tax Ed Tuesdays. Is another way to promote our story through social media. So my own opinion, I think these are very helpful for us in terms of our own personal growth and how we can advocate for the needs of our district. Appreciate the information.
It's efficiencies, just like Angela said, you get together, you have resource development, finance, marketing. These are basically ways that get administrators and school board members together to positively change and get ideas and share ideas, and also advocate on behalf of districts and public education. So some school districts that are members are Aldine, A-Leaf, Alvin, Cy-Fair, Fort Bend, Katy, Spring Branch, Texas City, Glen Park. These are all the districts that are currently community members. It's just something we can talk about. It's just information item. We're going to throw it on the agenda, I think, for the next meeting to just make sure we maintain our membership. Okay? Any other questions? All right. Done with that information item. Next we go to the next action item, which is the calendar, option 1B for the 17-18 school year. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Motion is second. And we pulled that one. Who wants to talk first? Yeah, Angela, Ms. Conrad?
First I'd just like to thank Ms. Aieva for articulating that so well. What was something that I heard from the majority of people throughout the community in terms of, the calendar options and items that they have seen calendar come from other districts and so forth. Your point also about District of Innovation was something that I felt strongly about as well. That the process that we go through to become a District of Innovation requires that plan that be presented and so forth. And so, in my opinion, our current plan is not my definition of innovation by any means. And so, I know going forward, we have to adopt a calendar based on what liberties we have at the moment. But I would like to definitely look at that process again to give us, especially after going through this process with the Dream Team and defining our portrait of a graduate. I just feel like we are constantly choosing from a buffet of choices instead of cooking our own food. And I think if we start with that innovation plan that allows us more flexibility to be unbiased, then we don't have to keep going back and getting approval and approval and approval. I think we need to take this vision from the Dream Team for our portrait of our graduate and then look at all of the Texas Education Code things that we could possibly opt out of. And then as a board, we already know that a calendar is something that we've already heard from our community, from our staff, is something that they would definitely want to implement in our district and have some flexibility there. For those other areas that we're not ready for yet, we put policy in place that says we continue in the way that we are until our committee meets again and decides as a district, as a community, we're ready to be innovative in this way now. And so we would like to also opt out of this option. But we've already covered that in our innovation plan. You don't have to go back through the whole process every time. So I'd like us to keep that in mind moving forward after we look at the portrait of the president. Because I think it's a bigger issue than just a council.
Okay, Ms. Conrad, thank you. Any other comments? Just to make sure we stay on the subject of the calendar, I have no problem with discussing bringing back a DOI with the calendar. Likely get rocks thrown at us regardless of what happens. That's what always happens. But I agree that the calendar needs some tweaking. So I would be in favor of a DOI for that. I wouldn't be in favor of putting down a DOI for anything else. That's something we can talk about later when it's on the agenda. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any other comments? Any other questions? All right, all in favor? So moved. Financial Services Board, you guys have that. Alright, so next item is on the support services division reports. Student attendance area for the 17-18 school year, elementary school 28. Do you have a motion? Second. I have a second. All right. Let's talk first about this one. Mr. Sidney.
First of all, I want to thank Dr. Brown, the administrative team, staff, and the committee for the work that you put in on this. I know it's not easy. Boundaries are very difficult. You're not going to please everybody. It never happens. It's unfortunate that we're here at this late date. Dr. Peters, as he's been trying to create culture and climate for a school with no boundaries. And that's put him in an awkward position. Also, recruiting for a program, Spanish immersion, and staffing and so forth. Outside of that, last Tuesday night I made most of my feelings known and the rationale behind those feelings, so I'm not going to rehash those tonight until we
Okay. Anyone else want to comment regarding the boundaries? I'll just say a few things. This process is a process that we've not gone through with opening a new school, especially in the elementary school, in a number of years. And I think we all learned a lot in this process from the administration, because we have new members of the administration that are working on boundaries for the first time in this district. I think we've learned a lot, and we've learned that we have a long way to go. So I think it was Vicki Rue who said that they weren't happy with the process. I don't think anyone is really happy with how this process turned out. Nevertheless, we have a school that we need to get open, and we have an administration recommendation to the board that is on this agenda, which we also discussed in part last Tuesday. And I will be voting in favor of that, because we've got to get the school open. And as we discussed last Tuesday as well, is that this is an experiment. And if we learn from this experiment, it will work or it won't, or maybe even something in between. And we can always change it with the committee for next year. So we're going to keep a close eye on this, and we'll know when the school opens whether it's worth or not in a hurry. But I will be voting for it.
I would just add that a vote in favor is not necessarily an endorsement for a future approval of flex zone type boundary proposals. And just to add that it is an experiment, and there is an expectation that there are certain measures in place in terms of the costs involved. There are a lot of variables with a plan like this, and I think that's what makes us also uneasy about those costs and what does it look like to be still overcrowded and maybe perhaps underutilized. So I want to make sure that we have some metrics in place that we are measuring so that we can analyze this as a viable option for future boundaries for future other school openings in the future.
Any other comments? Okay. All right. We'll now vote. All in favor? 5 in favor, against? 2 against. We'll hand this one back. I think that's it. All right. We now go to future board business. And I heard one thing from Ms. Conrad about DOI that we'll put on future board business. I think I agree with her that we can kind of wait and see after we do this portion of graduate mission, vision, and all that stuff. But clearly, I think the calendar is something we need to consider with that. Any other future board business? Going once, going twice? Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you very much.